So today I decided to explain about the poor metals, which they're known as poor because they're very soft, they have very low melting points, and some of them can be made into crystals. One is such gallium and bismuth. So let's start. For aluminium, I decided to collect a ball of aluminum foil. This metal is pretty useful, but it's pretty expensive to refine. Hence, most aluminum is recycled aluminum. The aluminium in aluminum cans is actually made of at least 30% recycled aluminium. And when aluminium is refined, it produces something known as red sludge, which is pretty toxic, and so you shouldn't refine this by yourself. And the red sludge is pretty toxic as well. It's high alkaline. For gallium, I collected a red LED because the red coloring of the LED is due to gallium compounds that are in the LED. Gallium melts when held in the hand, and gallium can be made into beautiful cubic crystals, which I'd recommend you try, but gallium is very expensive. So 1 gram of gallium costs about $10 to $20 worth of gallium. So, and gallium is used pretty often. Gallium is used in alloys with low melting points. And so here it is. For indium, I collected a bunch of transistors which turn letters and numbers into bits, which is 0 or 1, or on and off. These transistors contain indium. If you crack this black square open, you can find little indium pieces inside. And indium is pretty soft. You can really bite off a piece of this metal and chew it around your mouth like gum. And something so interesting about this metal is it's not toxic. So you can literally use it as chewing gum, but it doesn't taste as good as the regular chewing gum. But it actually is one of the most fascinating things. And indium is used in fields metal, which is an alloy that melts at 76 degrees centigrade. And I'm using centigrade because I do not know how to transform it into Celsius. Hope you don't mind. I'm just going to put this back and move on. For tin, I collected a bunch of tin wiring plus a little nugget of tin that I melted by myself. Tin has an extremely low melting point, only about 200 degrees Celsius, and tin is pretty bendy. As you can see, I can bend it with my fingers, and I broke it. This is just how soft this metal is. So I broke it, and hopefully you know how soft this metal is. This is actually very fascinating. It's not even harder than wood. People think metals are harder than wood, but some metals like this are not. So this is a very interesting metal, and if I were you, I will recommend buying indium. Indium has an extremely low melting point, which can make it cast into like little figures. So tin is pretty nice to work with, and it doesn't oxidize that easily. And it doesn't form a lot of compounds either. Thallium. Thallium is one of the most toxic elements on Earth. For this, I collected a little bit of pyrite, which contains iron and sulfur and very tiny bits of thallium. In this little piece I have here, there's only about a few micrograms of thallium. So it's not enough to harm me, but thallium is very toxic. So you can't really get this stuff easily. Lead. For lead, I collected a lead battery. This is a non-rechargeable battery. It's not alkaline, so it's made of lead. If you peel away the wrapper, you're going to find a lead shell coated with iron, because lead is very harmful. About 1 gram of it swallowed into your body can about kill a person or so. Lead was named after the chemical symbol Pb is named after plumbrum, which is a Roman word for pipes. And the English word plumber eventually came from this, because plumbers are people who fix pipes. Lead is used as a pipe to ship water to Rome, but in Italy, Rome, and because people did not know at that time that this metal is toxic and you shouldn't get lead in your water. So for bismuth, I collected a little bit of chalcedony, which, if you remember from my geode video, it's what composed geodes. Chalcedony contains tiny amounts of bismuth, only about a few hundred atoms in this piece of rock. So, and bismuth forms, and if you know a lot about this metal and you're a chemist just like me and you want to grow up to be a chemist, you know that when it can form square spiral crystals and can be melted on a regular cooking stove. And bismuth crystals are white, but they're just colorful because people blasted it with pure oxygen to make it from that beautifully colored lizard-looking oxide. So, thank you for joining me today, and I'll be waiting for you in the next one. Talk to you then.